that there will be no peace in the society until she's recognized as the living founder of the church. In all her press interviews many years after the crisis, she referred to herself as the living founder of the society. True, her experience was instrumental to the birth of the movement, but did not place her on equal footing with Orimolade. Abiodun had the gift of Holy Ghost, no doubt. She didn't have the giver. Mama will go to open year service to be raining courses.
Welcome back again to this powerful discussion and this very mind-blowing but necessary discussion about this very beautiful issue. So, we want to start talking about the journey of Moses Orimolade to Lagos in 1924 or 5?
December 1924.
24. So let's get into it.
You know, Moses Orimolade got back to Lagos in December 1924.
Okay.
When he got to Lagos, all he was doing was a public sermon, preaching from one place to another, because the power of God was working with him, healing and the rest of it. So his fame began to spread. You know, that's why people started coming to him. You know, they started holding prayer meeting and the rest of it. That should be now in 1925. You know, years, yeah. So people started coming to him, but then it was not too structured. It was an unstructured association as it were, you know, that time. So people were coming, because there was no Sunday service. Now, the typical services of CNS were 3.
Okay.
On Wednesday, they hold fellowship, where they preach, they pray, and they praise.
Okay.
On Thursday is for intercessory prayer for country, for the colony and the rest of them. Then on Sunday evening, they will go for open ear crusade. Like I said, Moses Orimolade started open ear crusade in Nigeria. There was no Sunday service. This order did not used to hold because its members belong to other denominations. So they go to their churches on Sunday morning. It was in the evening they will congregate back for open air crusade. It was later when persecution started coming that they now started, instead of having Sunday morning Sunday service, that they started having Bible study, 2 hours of Bible studies on Sunday morning.
On Sunday morning.
So
but let's before we get to London, let's look at what was happening in Lagos in 1925. So that was the story of the flu in Lagos in 1925. So how did that forge into Moses Orimolade's ministry, and how did that influenza cause a big breakthrough and a widespread of his person in 1925?
No, I think that was actually 1924, because that was why he came to Lagos in July 12, 1924 to go and pray. He went to Carter Bridge. He was pushed to Carter Bridge on his wheel, where he used to see on his cart, and that was where he prayed. That God should stop the epidemic, which stopped, you know, by the because people look at
that event was one of the events that made him popular in Lagos.
He started bringing his popularity out, you know, but he didn't stay in Lagos for too long because he had to go back, because when he got to Lagos July 12, he stayed with Reverend T. Ogunbiyi of
Why don't come there? So what's the relation between T. Ogunbiyi, who had done some work on, and you know, we don't talk about T. Ogunbiyi because T. Ogunbiyi was the one who had now come out of the Anglican Church and now became a founding father of the African Church.
Well, honestly,
and then he started what's that movement now? The Ogboni movement.
Reform
Ogboni fraternity.
Yes.
So let's talk about Ogunbiyi and Orimolade. What was their meeting like?
You see, I told you something the other time, that the Christianity that got to Nigeria was a Christianity that lacked power. Because one thing you have to ask yourself, Reverend T. Ogunbiyi was one of the most popular clergymen in his days.
Even a politician himself.
Yes. Now you will say, how can you be a clergyman and still went ahead to start a reform Ogboni? What was he looking for? Power.
For me, I was thinking, T. Ogunbiyi was a man who was an aristocrat in those days. He was known. He was like a big Lagos boy of the sophisticated people in Lagos, and then he was still a reverend person. And so I want to know what was it like between the two of them.
There was nothing between the two of them. Just that the first time the Orimolade came to Lagos,
but he lodged it.
Accommodated Moses Orimolade. You know, when Orimolade and people were trooping to him because of the prayer for against the epidemic.
So why exactly did T. Ogunbiyi? What did T. Ogunbiyi see in Moses Orimolade that made him bring him closer?
He saw power. Was that not what he was looking for that made him to go to reform confrontality?
Okay.
He was looking for, because the power was not easy to come by in Christianity of the day.
And he was a clergyman.
And he saw a raw power of God.
Of
and he looked at it, people were trooping to him. He was sanctifying water. They were going, a lot of miracles were happening. I told him, oh boy, this thing, you can't be doing this free of charge. Let's place a price on this.
Are you serious?
Of course. See, everything I'm saying here, I am not saying it from my head. They are well documented. No one has ever come out to say these stories are not true. So it's not about, I am not inventing anything. I am not creating anything. I'm not telling you what has not been heard before.
Okay.
They thought, Orimolade said, no, this is the gift of God. I was freely giving. I can't place money on it. And that's why I keep saying, if there's any prophet in CNS today, any man of God that is placing price on these kind of things, only water, I must be a bastard. So because his father never placed any price on the free gift of God. Did he pay for you to be given that gift of healing?
Okay.
So it was when Orimolade said, no, I can't do this. So
but let's just stay on T.A. Ogubi and Orimolade. What I think was that both of them, Orimolade and Ogubi, are trying to come up with an Africanness that will be a Christianity, that will be African, and not necessarily that the Europeans look like.
You see, I don't know anything. Honestly, I don't.
Because it was a passion of both of them. I think because Ogubi was like saying, "Oh, these people are taking," and then Orimolade.
Let me say this: one of the people that gave the most obstacles to this order at the beginning, Orimolade, was Reverend Ogunbi. Reverend Ogunbi was never in support of Seraph. Was never in support of CNS. Was never in support of Moses Orimolade. He brought something that they felt he was not worthy of having. They saw a sermon, the word of God come out with power. That was not the order of the day.
Of course.
So somehow the mission churches, like I told you, the mission churches were not of the people that waged war against Seraph at the beginning. Oh yes, one of the battles that Cherubim Seraphim had to fight at the beginning was the mission churches.
Yes.
Oh yes, because
but even Ogubi to had issues with the mission churches.
Well, I don't know. See, they believe.
So I'm just trying to see where they intersect.
See,
because sometimes when two people are friends, there'll be something common with them.
They were not friends. There was no intersection.
Okay.
I can tell you truth. See, the mission churches believe that the traditional institution should be left the way it is. But when Orimolade came, he said no. It's either you belong to Christ or you don't belong to Christ. You cannot say I belong to Christ in the morning and I belong to the idolatry in the night. So when you look at it, do you want me to open our hymn song for you? CNS was the first church in Nigeria that is our hymn books were combative.
Warfare.
Oh, see, kí gbogbo júbọ ọ̀rọ̀ dóko tọ́ra tógun àti tẹ̀sù kí wọ́n dojúbọ Jésù ọba ládùúrà ẹgbẹ́ Seraphim is saying our wish is for the Ogun worshippers, the Oya worshippers to come to Christ. But the mission churches were still pampering them. And that was the reason.
They are pampering them, or they were giving them a space so that they will not come out of the...
Whatever you call it. Okay. But whatever it is, it was that they were giving to them. Orimolade never did. Okay, so Orimolade was the man. He preached gospel in the raw, the way it should be preached. He wasn't giving any.
So let's talk about the mainland churches. You know them now. Let me mention names and this prophetic movement, because like you said, Orimolade never started a church. So what was the relation between the mainland movement and this prophetic movement? Let me just use that word.
Orimolade was not a denominational man.
That's why it's called the prophetic movement.
He was not a denominational man. Any church that opened his gates unto him, he comes. Okay. And even we have some of the other pastors, clergymen of other churches that used to attend Sundays, like one of them, Reverend Rice. It was one of Reverend Rice's songs that the trance. He was in the spirit.
Okay.
He was the one that brought out this our song on the day that this order was given a captain, Ole Michael. His dad was not a reverend, was not a clergyman in CNS. So you see, other clergymen used to come and worship with Seraph. And Orimolade too used to, they invite him and he goes. So Orimolade had no, in fact, as a matter of fact, what God sent him to do was to positively influence the denomination that was on ground, because the concept of denominationalism did not solve the problem of Christianity. So God couldn't have come and say, you come and start another denomination. I mean, what would that see? Cherubim and Seraphim has become a denomination today. What have we become? What have we become?
Me.
What have we become?
It has become.
I'm talking of your perception about us.
I don't want to say.
Now we're a denomination now.
I don't want to say it.
Are we not a more problem, bigger problem than what that God sent this order to solve? So the issue of denominationalism never solved any problem. It did it.
Okay. So if you say that, then what happened in 1930? If you say the denomination and Orimolade did not eventually want to start denomination, what happened in 1930?
No, what I'm saying that in 1925, when this order started, they were holding fellowship.
I'm saying 1930 now.
No, see, we need to understand 1925 before we go to 1930, because they were having their services, all those ones. Okay. Before it was in 1930. What happened in 1930?
You told me that in 1930 it was registered.
You see, the registration was one of the things that caused problem. That secession started.
I think we should just go back. Let's go back before we get to 1930 and talk about. I think it's the right time to talk about Captain Abiodun. For my own story, you should correct me if I'm not right. 17 years old, correct?
17 6 months.
17 years old.
When she met Moses Orimolade. She was born 25th December 1907.
Okay.
That was when Mama was born.
So 17 years old when he went.
So when she met Orimolade, she was a teenager.
Yes. And she went into a 7-day trance.
Yes.
So do you see that as a revelation or just a dangerous madness? Because it was during what the Roman Catholic procession of what they call Christus Poctus.
Yes.
That, so you call that a revelation, or it was just just a dangerous madness that now came and brought a very big trouble into the CNS or the Seraph movement, like you call it.
You see, what Mama went through, it was a trance.
Are you sure?
It was a trance. Two things happened to Mama.
The reason why I said it's not a trance, or it might not be a trance. Okay.
Two things happened to Mama.
Yes, ma'am.
Mama was sick. Mama was in trance. Two things.
Wait first, because let's get it. When somebody is sick, it could be going through all kind of things. I might not really be a trance at it. Where
Mama was in trance.
Okay.
For 7 days.
Yes.
Mama was sick.
Yes. So you are now saying to me now that trance is a divine revelation.
Of course, I believe so.
Okay.
Of course, I believe so. Because if it had not been, why would Orimolade go there?
Okay.
It was when Mama was in trance, and they are saying that if she didn't get anyone to pray for her on that day, she won't return back to the earth. She would die.
Okay.
And they are saying, who is this? For them to have come to Moses Orimolade, what do you think must have happened?
Okay, I was going to ask this also, that some people said she saw angels, some people said it was hallucination, and then I want to ask, why was it that it was Moses Orimolade that was required to pray for her at that point? Was it that God wanted both? Because I'm coming somewhere. Was it that God had an intention for these two? Because of course it was not Moses Orimolade that was in the world that could pray for her. So why do you think that God made it that it was Moses Orimolade that came to intervene at that point?
It was divine.
Okay, good.
I believe that's the act of God. It was the act of God. Because for them to have come to Moses Orimolade, then they had nowhere to go. And they must have seen the power and the anointing that he carried before they would say, because Orimolade wrote, see, everything that happened between, there is no controversy about the I'm going somewhere between.
Hold on, please. I want to just say something here. I'm learning from you. So
it's not you. I mean, to the public listening to us. See, there is no controversy.
Of course, where we do this, where we do this, there'll be all kind of things, and I want you to come back again. Where now, by the time we finish this, we'll be able to get questions and reactions from all of the things that will come. Of course, there'll be reactions. I understand.
I told you the other time.
Yes, sir.
Everything I say here are documented.
Of course, I
am not saying anything. See, there is nothing I've said ever since we started this interview. There's nothing I will say that is from head.
Of course.
They are documented. In fact, the relationship between Baba Moses Orimolade and Mama Abiodun Akinsowon was well documented. There could not be any other documentation higher than that.
Okay.
Because before Mama left, Baba wrote her. And that letter, that letter is see, ignore what I give to you. Go to archive in University of Ibadan. You're going to see there. Okay. It's a public document. So I'm not saying anything that is strange or it's not. See, let me mention the file to his file for whoever that wants to probably go and make their independent. Or of course, file number 785. University of Ibadan National Archives. You see there. It was a letter of Moses Orimolade with which he excommunicated Mama Abiodun Akinsowon from Cherubim Seraphim.
We'll come in there. I also had part of the story that Orimolade did not respond until they called him 7 times. Was that true?
Yes, absolutely. It's in this letter. Unfortunately, we don't have time to be able to dissect and read this letter.
I've looked at it yesterday, so I've came up with something.
Mama,
so why did Orimolade wait up to 7 times before he attended to the young lady?
I wish Orimolade did not go.
Yeah.
I wish he did not go. You know why?
Tell us.
It was, I believe, in my opinion, I believe Baba made that fundamental error. Because why would, for him, he said that his landlord, Mama Giwa, and the sister, the other sister of Abiodun Akinsowon, that is Comfort Moyet, and the husband, they came to call him. So the question is this: if they call you the first time, he didn't go. The second time, the fifth time, the sixth time. The 7th time, was that when the Holy Ghost permitted you to go? Because you see, when you look at, because this repeated itself, wanted to repeat itself, but Orimolade didn't fall for it. Okay. When they got to the praying band was the next set that succeeded from Moses Orimolade after Mama Abiodun Akinsowon left. Okay. They came back to reconcile. Probably, I hope I'm not jumping any gun. They came back to reconcile, and they said Orimolade should come outside. They went to where Orimolade was. They asked Orimolade to come out. That they said they won't go out. They were begging and going inside. They said they won't let them come out. Because what they did was that they renounced him as their leader on April 26, 1925. In 1929. So Orimolade said, okay, no problem. If they say they're not coming inside, I can go and meet them. And he attempted to stand up 3 times. The Spirit of God didn't allow him. And he sent a message to them that said, I wanted to come, but the Spirit of God did not allow him. So see, that sent a message that you have the calling. Okay. The call is yours. Okay. The mandate is yours. Okay. The unction is yours. They will be the one to come to you, not to you go to it. So I would have preferred that they brought Mama Abiodun Akinsowon to Moses Orimolade. You see, if they had brought her, all the lot of this controversy or necessary that we are dragging. So there is a school of thought that says that it was Abiodun Akinsowon's healing that launched. Sorry, it's just a school of thought that launched Orimolade's ministry in Lagos. How true is that? That it was that healing that launched his ministry. One of the things that gave speed to the ministry of Moses Orimolade. Because of course you talk about many things going on, but this one, this one looks like it's the breakthrough. It's the breakthrough let me read this to you. It's just a line or two from the letter that Baba wrote to Mama. He said, as you are one of the first fruits of my labor in Lagos, I took a great interest in you, giving you a position of fruit of trust and honor as my child in sacred order of Cherubim and Seraphim, which I sent you up country several times with other people to evangelize on behalf of the other. Baba acknowledged. In fact, in the first paragraph, which may not have enough time to read, Baba said, I acknowledge the fact that you're a wonderful daughter to me. So there's no doubt about the fact that that trance experience gave speed and gave publicity. There's no doubt. Okay, there's no doubt. But for someone to say, hold on, please, sir. So sorry, sir. That's fine. That's fine. So now that has happened, now that experience gave a great publicity, and you need to understand very well that for publicity in 1925, that was big. No social media, no television like it were to be today. So the publicity was something big and beautiful that most people don't have in those days. Do you think that created a power imbalance from the beginning? I did tell you that when Orimolade first got to Lagos in July 12, 1924, when he came to pray against the epidemic that was ravaging Lagos that time, and he lodged at Reverend T. Ogumbi's church. Residence, yes. I told you that people were trooping in. Why did you think that people were trooping into? But it was not like I understand you very well. What I'm telling you now is that this, and I asked you before, this particular healing case of Abiodun gave a new kind of popularity. Of course, there's no doubt about that. And Esther Akinsowon was now like, I will now ask you that, Abiodun Akinsowon. Don't you think that created a power imbalance? That if
your healing of me, or your, I don't want to call it healing or whatever, helping me to come out of the trance, I think I should be a part of the power's play in this place.
What's the power play in ministry?
I'm asking.
No,
because there's a power play.
Now you know that when God gives assignments, He calls. See, you can,
but that is revelation that you have now. In 925, she might not have it.
See. Honestly, I have a serious pity for Mama. Mama was exposed to this at a very tender age. At the age of 7, she was not 18 when this started.
But of course, you read there also.
You see. So you have to, that from the letter of Moses Orimolade acknowledged to that extent that he knew that it was the advice that she was being given. Come, when God called Moses
in the Bible.
Moses in the Bible.
Okay.
And for every call that God has made, has God called two people to do the same thing? Now the question I'm going to ask is that at what point did God call Mama Abiodun Akinsowon to start Sianis? Because there was no issue, there was not, outside this trance that happened in June 1925, there was nothing spectacular about anything about her until June 1925. But you understand from what we have said about Moses Orimolade right from the womb. Before he was born, revelations were coming. There is a boy coming. God is sending a child that's coming to make a difference. Now the question is this. So when you say, for let's even say Moses Orimolade, for all we care, was a man probably was challenged, was full of errors. Let's even say that. But are you saying that, have you ever seen anywhere where God calls a man and because probably he's not doing that, he transferred the call to another person?
Not really. But you read there also that Esther Abiodun Akinsowon was already be going on. Orimolade has already been sending her to do evangelical.
No, because Orimolade acknowledged that you are one of my first fruit in Lagos, and
she was also doing evangelical works here and there.
Of course, see the reason why.
And then there were healings. The
reason why she has Captain before.
I'm going to come there. Hold on.
I want you to know because I'm going to ask you. What I'm saying. Okay. The reason why she has Captain because she's the one captaining the evangelical team to the interland. For evangelism.
So it was for administrative purpose.
Yes, there was there was not the spiritual body, was the captain. So when you say you have a captain of football team, it's not the person that is maybe the rally round point. Even though you have to remember, we are still talking about teenager here. And she was leading the people that were old enough to be her father.
But if what
so when you are talking of power, when you are talking of power imbalance, I'm asking, what else could have been given to her? More than that, do you understand when I say I give you position of trust? Do you know the meaning for you? See, by the way, CNS was the first church in Nigeria to have a structured evangelical team.
Of course.
Now, so you are being made the head, as it were, of that.
If she didn't have any spiritual capacity, would you have thought that she would have been made the captain of the evangelical bands?
Oh, she was not the first. She was not the only one that Orimolade preached to. That came to.
Because I feel that it was because she had spiritual capacity. Because if I ask Sam, for example, to lead an evangelical team, it's not going to be for administrative purpose. He will have some spiritual capacity, and that is what I think. Esther Akinsowon.
You don't want me to read this letter?
Please go ahead. Why not?
See, if I read what is it?
Read it.
This is not to ridicule Mama.
Of course, we are doing. But you see what I'm doing here. What I'm trying to do is to argue for.
I understand you.
Very good.
Perfectly well.
Very good.
See,
so that we can have some fair hearing here.
What Mama exhibited.
Okay.
Showed that she had the gift. She didn't have the giver.
Tell that again.
Mama Abiodun had the gift of Holy Ghost, no doubt. She didn't have the giver. What Orimolade wrote, which she had not contradicted, no one has contradicted this. It was a. See, look at it. Let's see. You took a great delight in showering, insulting, and abusive language on them. He was talking about the praying band. And even during your address at the meeting in open year service, Mama will go to open year service to be raining courses. Mama Abiodun Akinsowon. Now, let me read another part for you because we don't have the time. I will have read all. On on one night at 11 p.m., I myself had to leave my premises, scatter, in plain covering clothes, bareheaded and barefooted to seek shelter with Mr. Davis. All this under the provoking threat of your set of 12. She began to have some people that became too big than the other at that time, 12. And they made Orimolade himself. He said, I was barefooted, bareheaded. You know, Orimolade had a lot of, it was Dada, was Nazarene. He said, there was nothing on my head, there was nothing on my feet. I ran for my life because of your set of 12. What does that mean? I am talking, see, we are talking about a 20-year-old guy here. You see,
I was on Orimolade.
Orimolade was, see,
Orimolade
was born in 1879.
Okay, so around that
Mama
time.
Abiodu was born in 25th December 1907. Between Orimolade and Mama Abiodu was 28 years.
By
the time they met, Orimolade was 46 years of age. Mama was 17 years and a half. So I am, see, you when do you even come into ministry? When you, as a teenager, you're already struggling for power. As a teenager, you are struggling for power. Meanwhile, it wasn't as if, see, there are a lot of things that surrounded this. But see, let me read. You see, honestly, let me read what Reverend Ludele wrote in his book. This is not my word.
Okay.
She reached a stage in her life when she could no longer imagine herself as an inferior to Orimolade.
Wow.
Talk less of being a daughter, but an equal and joint owner. From that moment, aided by her associates, loyalists, and sympathizers, she believed she had developed and matured enough and no longer willing to take orders from anyone, but rather to give orders.
Okay.
That's the perspective of Reverend Ludele. In fact, she once vowed during peace moves after Orimolade's death. Now, Orimolade has died. Now, they're still trying to look for a solution.
Yeah.
That there will be no peace in the society until she's recognized as the living founder of the church. In all her press interviews many years after the crisis, she referred to herself as the living founder of the society. True, her experience was instrumental to the birth of the movement, but did not place her on equal footing with Orimolade. That's like the Samaritan woman telling Jesus that since she brought the crowd, she should therefore be acknowledged leader or preacher. Abiodun also forgot that the wood does not make the monk. This is the opinion. This is not a seraph.
So let's just go back to 1929. Can you just please tell us of the events that led to the events of 1929?
You see, one of the things that the history told us led to this disagreement was the fact that Mama got.
I think this is 1929, right?
Yeah, in fact, Mama started misbehaving since 1928. If you read the letter of Moses Orimolade, she said, a year ago, I wrote the letter on 8th of March 1929. So he said a year ago, meaning that 1928. That I think Mama got the wind that they wanted to register this order.
Okay.
And they told her that she was not given any special position.
She's not.
She got the wind
that she will not be a part of the trustee.
There was no way Mama would not be. How Mama not be part of the trustee? It was impossible.
Was she part of the?
After Moses Orimolade, as the setting was then, it was like Abiodun Akinsowon. Who else? See, whatever the members could not get from Orimolade to Abiodun Akinsowon, no one could. The kind of respect and honor that Orimolade granted and gave to Mama Abiodun Akinsowon. We are talking of a girl that he was more than old enough to give birth to.
But don't you think that kind of honor, respect, and regard made her think that she could be co-founder?
I think so. I think, in fact, history told us, Baba has his own fault. I mean, he has his own fault in all this. Because they said a lot of reports against Mama, that Baba, because of the love he had, Moses Orimolade loved Abiodun Akinsowon. Now, on one occasion, let me share this story with you.
Okay, sir.
They went to the interland for evangelism. They sent Orimolade that Mama Abiodun Akinsowon was sick. Baba was on 7 days praying and fast. And said, no, not my daughter. Not what. So she recovered. On the day they were coming, Baba sent some of the others to the police and I don't know, is it colonial commissioner, and said, my daughter is returning from interland. I want you to come and give honor to our celebrator. The people they say, what's wrong with this man? This is stark illiterate man. if you want honor for your daughter, is it on the day that they are coming at Ido railway station? Is that the day that you're going to be? So they were grumbling. You call them back. I sent you on the air. I asked you to do something. You were grumbling. They were wondering who told this guy that we're grumbling outside. He said, I heard you. Go. God has already finished his work. When he got the God, they told him what time. It was 4 p.m. The police guard were there with their backless car. You know, as the evangelical. Now, Mama was not the only one that went over that evangelism. Mm-hmm. But Mama was the captain.
But she was the captain.
The moment they landed.
In fact, today it's today I know the meaning of this captain.
Yeah, the moment they landed, come and say salutation here and there
for her.
Yes, they usher her into the backless car where they are refined. The seraphs were there in their numbers, in their garments. That was the day they sang that song, Mashishole, Mashishole. As the salutation everywhere. See, the moment they marched to Orimolade saw her daughter, was happy, embraced her daughter. Thank you for the honor. It's for you to know the kind. Orimolade excessively loved Abiodun Akinsowon. I think, sometimes when you overlove a child, you can actually spoil that child. But
there's a school of thought that says if Akinsowon was a man, a male, the spiritual authority that she would have been asking for will have been guaranteed to her. What do you think?
Because she was the one that got caught. No, I'm asking.
I'm just saying.
Because she was the one that got caught. Every call, see, and we must understand this. See, there is no call that is superior or inferior to the other.
But was she called?
Well, is there any doubt about that? Okay. Is there any doubt?
So if she's called,
could Orimolade have handled the entire of that ministry alone?
So if she was called,
see, hold on, sir. Today we talk about Pastor Enoch Adeboye, our father. We talk about Bishop Oyedepo. Of course, you see them on the stage. You see them everywhere. Are they the only one running that ministry? Remove the associate. Would Baba be able to? Does Baba be able to function on the stage?
No.
And so God has called every man to his own responsibilities. I know the challenge is this. You see, when you say, "Is it only Moses that God speaks to?" God can speak to me as well. And you don't understand where God has placed you. See, you can do anything to a man that God has called. Don't question his call. Did you understand what David did with Saul? He said, "Me, kill Saul. Anointed of God. I cannot. His death will come. Maybe one day he will go to enemy, they will kill him. But his death will not come from me." David is saying, this is the anointed man of God. He may have erred. He may have gone away from God, but it's not my responsibility to kill him. So when you're talking about a call, when God has placed a call on a man, who are you to question the call? He's going to have his errors, he's going to have his challenges, but who are you to question this call?
So another question I want to ask you is that
you remember Moses' call was questioned separately. You remember Abiram, Dathan, and what happened? They died on Yeshua death. So are we saying that Moses did not have his own fault?
Of course he did.
But when it comes to who God has called, please, I am saying this to everyone. If you are in any church or ministry, God has called a man, and probably for any reason at all, you want to question, leave, rather than start saying nonsense. Just leave that place.
I'll go to where you feel.
See, because it's not because he's superior, but because he has the mandate on his head. So why should you query him?
So I was going to ask you if Orimolade had endorsed Abiodun as a co-founder, do you think there will still be?
Orimolade even never referred to himself as a founder.
But that's the
Jehovah Lodegbe Yisile.
But
now listen, it was for the sake of administrative convenience.
Yes.
When they had to register the order, that you see Orimolade refer to himself, and in view of what had happened, because see, Mama Abiodun Akinsowon also was even small.
Okay, there were even other people.
The second secession that took place, the praying band. Those who actually wanted to take over the church from Moses.
But the praying band and Akinsowon, what was the relationship between them?
I think it was, somehow, this issue of struggling for power had been in existence somehow. Now, let me give you a short story. When Orimolade announced that God is going to give this order a captain on that day, and he told them,
and she was the only captain.
No, I'm not talking of that captain. Now, on 29th Balogun, on 29th of September, Orimolade said, by 9 a.m. in the morning, this order will have a captain. You know what happened? The elders were thinking that it would be them. Some were thinking it would be Babada, Davis, and all the rest. If story told us whether true or not. When you don't have all these things documented, that some people even had gone to sew garment of Iwuye as captain. When Orimolade, it was 9 a.m. Orimolade heard his bell, and he rang the bell to the east, to the west, to the south. Say the captain of this band is here chosen is only Michael.
Only Michael.
Yes.
So that's like a spirit or something.
That's an angel, archangel. I said that. So because they were thinking that they would be the one to be the Cherubim Seraphim, just like it was in other denominations. So the struggle for power, I want to be this, I want to be that, has always been there. It was that struggle. From what history told us, there was even no. I think Mama too. One of the most powerful subunits in the ministry of Moses Orimolade were the praying band.
Of course. And it was the formation
among them were the
formation of many
they were
sects.
filled with power. They had gift. They could preach. They could teach. They were the elites of that time. Some of them, they were clerks. And all those ones, the most educated. So somehow, the guardians of Abiodun Akinsowon felt that those ones, they were threats to the position that Abiodun must have held. Could hold in that ministry. So it was like in fact some people believe that it was maybe the struggle for power that even made the praying band to hasten Orimolade out of sin. All those are speculations. But what I can tell you that there were struggles for power.
And why do you think there was struggle for power? Is it because of the was it because of the fame that, because the truth, what I just think is that the fame Orimolade had in the 1925s was very, very unprecedented. Because most times I see in ministry these days, when people get this kind of fame and breakthrough that we call them today, that they are not really prepared for, it kind of causes this kind of things.
You have said this. I think the fathers were not prepared for it. I think now before let me say this to you.
They were prepared.
It's not just administratively.
They were prepared for. They had the hunger, the burden, the power was there, but there was this administrative part of who will be who.
I can tell you authoritatively, at the risk of sounding absurd, that the fathers didn't understand Moses Orimolade. They didn't understand the ministry. They thought that the ministry was just like where they are coming from. And by the way, you see, as much as I want to put some blame on Baba, I look at him at that time. Which ministry could he copy from?
That is the point.
It was
a pace setter,
as it were. So because Baba told them that if there was no rancor between them, he said God will raise, was it 7 apostles? He said there will not be anyone that will be greater than them. He said they will do the works of power. He said, but if there are rancors, right before them, they will see God is another man. Now, rancor started, God is Ayo Babalola. Right before them. Ayo Babalola received his call in 1928. He started his ministry in 1930. Yep. And I told you, it was in 1928 that the rancor started. Because the letter that Orimolade wrote to Mama Abiodun Akinsowon on 8th of March 1929, stated that he was telling Mama, a year ago, you began to disobey my order, meaning that struggle that started in 1920. It was in that 1920 that God said, okay, this one are not serious. Let me raise another man. So he raised Ayo Babalola to their shame. And the power, the grace, the unction, the anointing with which Baba walked, Baba Ayo Babalola, was unusual.
Of course.
To their shame. Because that anointing belonged to them. But because they love power, they love position, they missed that opportunity.
So as a proud son of the CNF movement, do you think that this Akinsowon and Orimolade issue, do you think it's been a blessing or a curse? So far. So that we end this session.
Our father.
We have done 40 minutes.
But Daddy believes that probably because of the disappointment, disagreement, the secession that took place made this sadness to spread more. But I beg to differ. Because when this secession started, see, when God calls you for an assignment, He's going to give you the terms of it. These are the things you can do. These are things you cannot do. This cannot do. But you see, the moment secession started, everybody started adding their own. Because if you don't have the call of God, you have to use something to supplement it now.
Okay, so in our next session, we're going to get.
That was at the point
we're going to get
that a lot of strange practices began to come into.
And that's where I'm going to go to, because that's why I saw you. The next session, we're going to go into some of those practices, and I want you to speak to them. In some of your videos, you have made extensive videos about those things, and those are the things I want us to talk about. So I want to keep joining us, everyone. This is going to be interesting. God bless you.